The girl's jovial voice bounced on the pure white marble floor of the royal palace. The domed ceiling echoed her voice somewhat, but the wide open hallway made the weak voice dissipate into thin air. Heralyse had grown bored with playing with her many servants. She liked to toy with her entourage, abusing her divine power to make the powerless servants dance in the palm of her hand. It were those same powers that made her part of the ruling dynasty of the divine realm. However, even a young child couldn't be entertained forever by making her adults bend to her will. Thus, leaving the servants to fix themselves, she grabbed her favorite cat plushie and ran, with a smile, into the palace proper. Hera ascended to the upper floors of the palace, where her mother sat on the throne, governing all deities. Usually, this area was brimming with servants, officials, and other major gods, courting an audience. But today's lack of visitors and personnel painted the hallways in an eerie silence. Only a slight breeze could be heard, howling through the hallways, and nothing else. Hera searched every room where her mother usually was, her private quarters, her office, the audience chambers. But there was no sign of her anywhere at all, or anyone else, for that matter.
That's weird.
Hera thought.
Where's everybody?
The last place to check was the throne room. Hera was forbidden to wander inside, but strangely, there were no guards by the door. The girl used all her strength to open the dark oak doors leading inside. The throne room was the highest room in the palace, high above the rest of the divine realm. Marble columns supported the massive dome ceiling, with the ornate throne of the queen at the very center. The blue sky was the backdrop, visible between the columns supporting the ceiling.
She's not here either.
Hera was thoroughly confused. Where was her mother?
Perhaps she went outside?
She didn't remember any notice of the queen leaving the palace in her royal duties, but maybe. Suddenly, Hera's vision went dark. It took her a moment to understand what had happened. Someone had covered her eyes with a thick black cloth. Now her mouth had been covered with something too. She tried to reach out to her face, but her arms were forcefully grabbed and tied together on her back. Before she realized it, her small body had been pressed against the cold floor by someone. She couldn't see, she couldn't speak, and she couldn't move. However, she could still hear just fine. A gruff, male voice reached her ears, one that she didn't recognize.
Huh. Who would have thought it was so easy to incapacitate the princess?
Then she heard another voice, this time a woman's.
Guess they were right. Their charm doesn't work if their eyes are covered.
Hera was panicking, tears starting to wet the cloth around her eyes. She tried her best to squirm out of the hands holding her down, but to no avail.
Hey, Pipsqueak.
The man began.
If you want to make it through this alive, I'd suggest you stop resisting. Otherwise, we'll just off you right here.
The threat had worked. Hera stopped resisting immediately.
Good. You know what's best for you. You're not the main target, anyway.
Not the main target? Wait.
I wonder if they have offed the queen yet.
The woman spat out with venom.
Considering how easy Heralyse was to subdue, the queen couldn't have been much harder if they followed the plan.
Wait, does she mean... Mother? Mother's in danger!
Hera returned to her squirming, this time with even more vigor. However, it was impossible for such a young kid to escape the clutches of a grown man pressing down on her frail body.
Kid, didn't you hear what I just said? Stop resisting, or else.
Maybe mentioning her mother got her all worked up.
The woman added. Then, Hera heard her voice much closer than it was before. She couldn't see anything, but she knew the woman was right next to her ear.
You think you can save your mommy if you can just get away, is that it? Too bad. By this point, she's probably already...
But the woman never finished her sentence. From the entrance of the throne room, Hera heard a voice that she couldn't ever mistake.
Release my daughter at once.
The command was as simple as it was powerful. The words carried not only the strength of a ruler, but the divine power that made anyone, even the gods, obey without question. There was only one person in the entire universe capable of such a feat.
Mother!
As if they were mere puppets, the two assailants released Hera's arms and undid the cloth binding her eyes, mouth, and arms. The sudden deluge of light almost made her blind, but Hera was able to get her bearings and slowly start to stand up. But before she could fully rise, her savior kneeled in front of her and pulled her into her chest.
Oh, Hera, I'm so glad you're all right.
Mother!
The girl snuggled against her mother as tight as she could. The tears Hera was barely able to hold back before were now running down her cheeks, as if a dam had been broken. After crying her heart out for a long time, Hera was finally able to compose herself and get a good look at her mother's face. The Queen of the Gods was a kind, generous, but strong leader, who always showed a smile, even when her position made her deal with some unpleasant people. And, of course, she knew firsthand the motherly side that she never showed anybody else. But this expression was different from anything she had ever seen. Her mother had such a hard, worried expression. It didn't suit her at all.
What happened?
A conspiracy to end the royal bloodline.
Her mother said with a grave tone Hera had never heard before.
Kill me, and then you as well.
But they said I would have been fine if I didn't resist.
It was a lie, naturally. After killing me, they were planning on killing you as well. Perhaps after extracting some valuables from the treasury as ransom.
But Hera found this strange. She didn't have the state of mind to think about it before, but something about that sounded off to her.
Kill? You mean like have immortals die? But gods can't die, right?
Hera knew gods were immortal. That was just a fact of life for her. She had never even seen anything die in her entire life, so the idea of somebody killing a god was unfathomable to her.
They can't, but...
Her mother was trying to find the right words to tell Hera something important, but she never got the chance to. It happened too fast for Hera to react. From the entrance of the throne room, a figure appeared. All the princess could see was his twisted, predatory smile, and the glint of the object in his hand reflecting the sunlight. And then he lunged forward. The dagger struck the queen in the back, piercing her abdomen straight to the other side. The man didn't waste a single moment and pulled the dagger out, dealing even more damage to the deity's body.
It worked. This dagger actually worked.
Boisterous, evil laughter erupted from the man. Despite it filling the entire throne room, Hera's mind couldn't process it. The sound was distant and muffled, like background noise. All her senses were focused only on her mother's face, twisting from the pain. Hera felt a warm, thick liquid soaking her clothes. She reached down. Her small hand was dyed red.
What is this? Blood? Mother?
The queen, too, reached down to her deep wound, gushing blood from the back and front. She was so shocked, she too couldn't understand what was happening to her.
What did you do?
The queen managed to say.
The Godslayer.
The man spat out.
The only weapon capable of hurting a god. Forged eons ago by a supposed evil god, as you call him. Me?
He drew a broad, dark grin.
I call him a hero. Now the divine realm would be finally free from the tyranny of that cursed, charming power.
The princess knew there were good gods and evil gods, but she had been sheltered from evil her entire life. Hera grew up surrounded by the servants who bent to her every whim and treated her like the princess she was. Her life was perfect, even more than the already perfect life of the gods in the divine realm. She didn't know what evil was, not truly. It was a vague, unformed concept to her. But at the moment, within that twisted smile, she finally understood what evil was. It was that man. That man was evil. A rage she had never felt before erupted from within Hera. It consumed her entire being, taking over even her thoughts. There was only one thing in her mind.
That man is to pay for what he did.
And without a second thought, she looked straight at him. Their eyes locked, and for a brief moment, the evil god understood his mistake. But it was too late. Hera knew from a young age how to use her eyes to hypnotize people. However, she used that power merely to play with adults. Her mother had strictly taught her to never use it for anything bad. But Hera knew the extent of her powers reached far beyond that. And if there was a situation where she had to use her powers for something else, this was it. She put all her power into her gaze and uttered a single sentence.
Kill yourself.
Instantly, the god lost his will. His eyes went glassy and lifeless. He grabbed the dagger still in his hand and with no hesitation, raised it to his neck and...
Look at me.
With the last of her strength, the queen forced Hera to stare at her using her bloodied hands. The girl didn't see the evil god die, no. Her mother didn't let her see it. All she heard was his lifeless corpse fall with a thud on the marble floor.
Never do that again.
Mother?
Your powers, they are strong. Strong enough to control the entire universe.
The queen's voice was labored and so thin that Hera almost couldn't hear it.
The world is harsh, but do not forget, everyone deserves kindness, even those who are evil.
Hera didn't know what to do. After all, gods never got hurt or injured. All she could do was look at her mother's weak smile. As her body quickly lost her strength, the cat plushie the princess had brought into the room laid soaked in the queen's blood. And then, still holding her kind smile, her eyes lost their shine, and her body crumpled onto the girl. The queen of the gods was dead.